Hello and welcome to Make a Difference, the show about how volunteers are making a difference right here in Montgomery County every day. I'm your host, Sandy Smith. We welcome you here via Zoom due to the current pandemic crisis. Today we're speaking with Andrea Kemper-Wink, Director of Development and Volunteer Services, Community Reach of Montgomery County. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
Andrea, tell us about Community Reach, which was formerly Community Ministries, and the population you serve.
So we're a safety net organization that provides healthcare, housing, financial emergency assistance, education for immigrants, and elder care for the most vulnerable in Rockville and Montgomery County. And our 5 programs encompass a lot of things. So that's my main elevator speech.
How has COVID affected your ability to provide these services?
Well, we've definitely had to pivot, one of my new words, everybody's new word, in many ways. So our language outreach program, which provides ESOL classes, citizenship test preparedness classes, and conversation classes, probably made the biggest change in that they were seeing clients and students and teaching in classrooms. And obviously they can't do that right now. So everything is done online. And they've been very successful at it, and actually have found that some of that is so good for some of the students, it's easier that they will provide, after we can go back into classes, some online classes as well as classrooms where you meet in person.
You find that you will be able to reach more students that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And that also avoids the issues of transportation. Can they get home from work and have time to eat and get to classes and all of that? So it helps broaden our reach.
I think a lot of businesses, as well as nonprofit organizations and just organizations as a whole, I think will find that they're going to keep a lot of the virtual methods that they've come up with to reach out to people, because you can find people everywhere, you can reach people everywhere. So that's good to hear. How have your volunteer needs changed due to COVID, and how are you managing social distancing?
Our volunteer needs haven't changed so much, but how we can utilize volunteers has obviously changed a lot. So for example, in our clinic, we use interpreters. We have Mansfield Caseman Health Clinic that provides healthcare to those who are uninsured, Medicaid or Medicare insured. And a lot of our patients are Spanish fluent and not as comfortable in English. And some of our providers are not Spanish fluent. And so we need to connect the two of them. We had interpreters who would come in and be in the room with the medical provider and the patient previously. Now that's being done through the telephone. So, if you have a patient in the room and a provider in the room and they don't speak the same language, they can get on the phone with a volunteer who can make that connection.
Okay.
So that's one of the things. One of the other ways, we've not used as many students, unfortunately, as we had previously. And we've had to be a little bit more restrictive with our volunteers. So for holiday giving in the past, we were part of the Montgomery County Holiday Giving Project, and we do Thanksgiving distribution and December distribution. And in the past, it was a place where we could bring in a lot of volunteers of a lot of different ages and get them involved. This year, because we needed to decrease the number of volunteers, obviously, we could only accept volunteers who were 16 and above, because we really needed people who could do the work on their own.
So what are your top volunteer needs? Are there specific qualifications that you need volunteers to have? Is there a target age group? What are your top needs?
So right now, there are 2 needs that are a little bit unusual, and that is, and there's something that goes on throughout the year. So from an administrative standpoint, we always look for volunteers for our committees to help with our events committee, and we have a gala coming up on April 24th. So that committee is about to ramp up. We have a development committee, a governance committee, and a finance committee that are ongoing. and are meeting virtually, where we always like to have people. And that's also one of the stepping points frequently to the board of directors. So if you're looking for a way to get more involved in the administrative side of a nonprofit, those are good ways to do that. We also have our Rockville Emergency Assistance Program. Always needs intake coordinators. And in the past, we've been pretty strict. They need to be 18 and above. They need to be able to be available for 6 months. And they would come into our office for 4 hours a week, the same 4 hours during the workday, and help with clients, because the learning curve was so wide. But now during COVID, we are having volunteers for that program, our Rockville Emergency Assistance Program, volunteer from their homes. They return calls that are left on the voicemail, and they gather information. So right now they're really triaging so that our director of the program can help with the actual needs and not do things like find out what exactly they're calling about, getting their address and all of that. So they're basically doing the first piece, and hopefully will want to stay and come into the office and learn more when we're back in the office. But if not, that's okay too.
Right. How can volunteers contact you?
Well, you can reach out to me at my email address, Andrea K.Wink at CMROCKS.org. You can go onto our website, CMROCKS.org, and you can look at how to help. And there's a lot of information about our volunteer opportunities, including our drives, like cleaning supply drives that help our clinic and our houses as well.
Thank you. We've been speaking with Andrea Kemper-Wink. Thanks for joining us today, Andrea, and stay safe.
Thank you.
If you're interested in volunteer opportunities, please go to our website, montgomeryserves.org. I'm your host, Sandy Smith, and thank you for joining us, and let's be sure to make a difference.